Stress can be defined as the state we experience when there is a discrepancy between perceived demands and our perceived ability to cope. Stress can also be defined as the body's adaptive response to environmental changes. The stress response has evolved to allow people to cope with life-threatening dangers or stress factors, such as encountering a wild animal or possibly hostile person. Situations like this require action, activating the stress response to wither an. Stress can be defined as the state we experience when there is a discrepancy between perceived demands and our perceived ability to cope. Stress can also be defined as the body's adaptive response to environmental changes. The stress response has evolved to allow people to cope with life-threatening dangers or stress factors, such as encountering a wild animal or possibly hostile person. Situations like this require action, activating a stress response to wither and fight or escape. Today we hope that we do not have to face the same dangers as our ancestors, but the reaction to stressful situations and the difficult situations we face is still with us, and our minds and bodies are still preparing for battle or flight when we are facing wild equivalent. This is where the problem can start, with a fight or reaction to flight without a physical exit, as if we are stuck in a traffic jam and can't fight it or run away, or perhaps an unreasonable workplace confrontation where again the answer to the action can be activated, but we cannot give him a way out by fighting or fleeing without consequences that we would rather avoid. It is possible that both events and other events take place on the same day, maybe every day, and stress intensifies in us until it damages our health if there is no solution. Stress is not always bad. The reaction to stress was designed to help and protect us, and some people even put themselves in stressful situations that they know they can handle the tension and rush, as it is often called. We all experience stress differently depending on our personality type, conditions and possible training. When we face stress but feel we have the ability to handle it successfully, we can get a sense of success and achievement. Achieving the right balance between good stress, motivating and stimulating us to grow, and our ability to cope with stress, is the key to staying healthy, positive and active in any area of life where we are. Our ability and consumption of the nutrients that our body needs to stay strong and flexible and recover when needed can affect our ability to deal with stress. We must also avoid anything that can cause us stress or weakness, such as drugs, alcohol, smoking, etc. Finally, stress can be external, some event or situation that causes stress, or internal, relationships or emotions that lead to stress, anxiety, guilt, low self-esteem, fear, etc. What is the answer to the fight, flight? Why do we still have it? Fight or flight response is a physiological response and is the body's response to a stressor. Changes in hormones prepare a person to stay and cope with a stressor or to run away. This is a state of immediate anxiety as the body prepares to act, and in this state a person will be extremely aware of his surroundings, but also very concerned and may not be able to concentrate. The body slows down the functioning of systems that are not essential to respond to a stressor, such as the digestive system, so that a person struggling or flying may have a dry mouth and a nervous, agitated stomach. The body will make other preparations, such as improved cooling of the body as more energy is used, and this will cause sweating. Response to fight or flight is a very old and very simple answer that has been with us for a long time. Initially, it was a response to danger that prepared our ancestors to fight a wild animal or enemy who could suddenly threaten or run into it, or flee and literally flee from danger. This response is triggered when we send an alarm message to a part of the brain called the hypothalamus. This area of the brain sends a signal to the glands to release adrenaline, cortisol and endorphin into the bloodstream. Elevated levels of adrenaline increase heart rate and blood flow, which in turn brings extra oxygen and glucose to the muscles. Cortisol causes an increase in amino acids and blood sugar. Amino acids are critical for repair of damaged tissues that can occur under stress, and blood sugar levels increase the availability of glucose, fuel, for the body. The release of endorphin, which is a more powerful morphine-like substance, provides the body's natural sedative system. The pain is blocked and a feeling of euphoria may arise, which helps the body overcome the situation where it is due to stress. We still have this answer as we still need to prepare and protect ourselves during anxiety, such as being in an emergency of any kind or facing any kind of life-threatening danger. After the initial stages of this fight or reaction to flight have passed, the person will have a psychological reaction to the stressor which depends on many variables including personality type, condition, age, physical and mental abilities and their knowledge related to situation. Solved. Very often, symptoms that result from this fight or flight are what we usually call a panic attack. What really happens is that we may be in a situation where we can't fight or run away, for example at a meeting or on a train, so we feel more and more anxious and we feel that we lose consciousness or get sick, or one of the different answers. That is why it often happens that we have a desperate need to urinate, and this is another way in which the subconscious mind sometimes tries to attract our attention and force us to leave the arena in which we are now. Usually, this is a feeling of inability to escape and the knowledge that we can have this strong sense of struggle or escape, creating great anxiety and anticipation of problems for most people who think they need help to overcome their problems. In addition, many people this should be the majority of people suffering from panic attacks and anxiety usually requires some compulsive action in their lives. This can often be a kind of coping or control strategy. Why is hypnotherapy completely different from any other form of therapy? Hypnotherapy differs from any other form of therapy in the way the therapeutic part occurs when a person is in a state of hypnosis. In other words, hypnotherapy is a very effective combination of hypnosis, a state of trance or change and deep relaxation, and the therapy of choice, such as can be suggestive therapy, regression therapy, ego state therapy, neuro-linguistic programming or hypnosis. Hypnosis allows a person to enter a state of deep relaxation, which in itself is a very useful therapy to deal with stress. It also allows a person to be calm and focused as all parts of the mind work together and are focused on solving a problem and therefore utilize the chosen therapy in the best possible way in the form it is used. Why is it so useful in cases of stress, anxiety and panic attacks? Hypnosis is a state in which a conscious critical ability is temporarily suspended or distracted and where all parts of the mind function in harmony for the benefit of the whole being. Being in hypnosis, a person can be very relaxed and at the same time very conscious and sharp, mentally focused. For computer experts, I want to compare hypnosis to safe mode on a computer where if part of the system works, putting the system in safe mode can allow you to safely perform research and repairs. Minimize the risk of normal operating systems. In some sports, it will be like a timeout when all parts of the team briefly gather to analyze the current state of the game, determine how bad decisions can affect the results, and choose a new strategy to move forward. In the normal flow of life, we rarely have time to relax or go into safe mode to pool our resources and calmly take stock and plan our best path forward. Hypnosis is thus a safe and relaxing state where we can briefly leave tension in and around us and where an experienced therapist, if we wish, can guide us through the stages of research, discovery and planning, and repairs that we may need. Therefore, hypnotherapy provides relaxation, and clients of good therapists teach self-hypnosis so they can find this deep relaxation for themselves, and are therefore useful even at this basic level as a kind of first aid. A good therapist will help the client find exalted feelings, triggers, and false instincts of the past that are sort of outdated, erroneous, or maybe just no more wanted or needed programming that is repeated as soon as it is activated to cause us to have a lot of anxiety and panic, but we often don't know why. Then, the wonderful power of hypnotic suggestions and neuro-linguistic programming techniques will be used to provide new and effective programming to support the transition to a much more positive life with a better look at everything.